So in this module of lesson 4, we're going to talk about tuples, mutability, and the Python tutor. So first of all, there's some issues, or not some there's issues, but maybe some limitations with the spider variable explorer that we'll uncover maybe here in a few minutes, and we'll look at maybe another example of how you can zip two lists together. We'll cover some methods, some maybe things that you might not have expected that a method can do, because it can actually change your objects. So that's something that you need to realize. We'll cover tuples and the fact that they're not mutable. You can't change them once you've created them. And then we'll cover what Python tutor is able to do for you. I'm going to do all of this in either Spider or the Python tutor. So yeah, so let's go ahead and start. And I got a couple lists in here already. You guys can stop the video and copy these suckers in if you need to. But the first thing I'm going to do, so let's figure out what these suckers do, right? So F9, so I get the list, and you see that it's true, 1, West Point, and 4.9. So there's no limitation to that. But what happens when I do this? So all I did was I went in, and for each element in this list, I wanted to know what the type was. And what I expected to see was Boolean, integer, string, and float. So I expected to see something like that. But however, I got this type. There are ways. So let's zip these two things together. So for E1, element 1 and element 2, and zip. So let's zip these two. What is it? L and P. Print E1 and E2. So down here, you'll see true Boolean. 1 is an integer. West Point is a string. 4.9 is a float. So we can go through each one of these lists and print them out one at a time. You can kind of see what that zip is doing again. So if I printed out each one of these individually, then it would give me what it really is. But here in the variable explorer, you're only able to see type. Another way to do this is sort of a back end way of doing it. It has to say string of E for E and P. So for element of P, let's see what happens when I do this. So then you get this little list here that actually is the string of these type. And we'll see later on that we're going to get this for when we create our own classes, or we're going to get the same sort of limitation here in Anaconda, or I'm sorry, in Spider. But you can see here is the class bool, class and class. So it's doing what we suspect it could do, but that's not really the use of this list comprehension. So that's why I sort of call it backdoor. Anyway, I just wanted you guys to see that the Spider doesn't necessarily always print out, and don't get upset if it doesn't print out exactly what you think it should up here, because sometimes it has a few limitations. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to put in two lists. So and the title of this one says, know what the methods do to your objects. So I have warm and cool, and as you can imagine, there's like colors that are associated with warm colors: red, yellow, and orange, and cool, white, blue, and gray. So all I want to do now is let's print warm. So print it to the console. You can see red, yellow, orange. And then what would happen if I did warm.sort? So that is a method for a list that sorts. And if we hit the button and then we print warm again, it changed your object warm. So warm is no longer red, yellow, orange. Now, because you ran the sort method on it, it's orange, red, yellow. But why? Because O comes before red, R, and R comes before yellow. So hopefully that makes a lot of sense. There's another function called sorted that will do the same thing, kind of. So if I do sorted cool, right? So it sorts the list cool, blue, gray, and white. So it did what we thought it would do. But then when I print cool again, we see that it really didn't touch cool, right? So it didn't change the object itself. It didn't change the values or the order in which they appear. So that might be something that you know is out there. You can do one or the other. Okay, so tuples. So this is a lesson. The part up here is a lesson on knowing what the methods do to your object. So your object can be changed if you allow it to. All right, tuples. Tuples are sort of the same thing as a list, right? So I got colors here, yellow, and I can go colors 0 and it'll tell you yellow. I can go colors 1 and it'll tell you blue and 2 and so forth, right? So you can do the same kind of things that you do to a list as far as accessing the information. The problem comes for colors when you try to do something like this. When you try to say, hey, I don't like yellow anymore. I want that sucker to be purple. So it says, hey man, tuples do not support an item assign. So in other words, I cannot assign. So rethink about what I want that sucker to be. I don't even think you can do sort, right? So if you try to do sort, because sort dot colors dot sort, nope, it can't do it. So that doesn't make sense either. It doesn't have a method called sort. So you can't do everything that you can with the list. However, it's like a list, but it's not mutable. So you can't change it on the fly like you can a list. However, you can do this. So suppose that I really am interested in changing color. I don't really like that yellow there. I want that sucker to be purple. Another way to do it is colors is equal to, so redefining it. So I can say purple, oops. And if I just change the thing, Control C, Control V, and then just change the sucker purple. Colors, you can see that it actually did change. So the way that you change a tuple is by just redefining it, basically. There's another way to do it. So, you know, I mean, when I say another way, I mean just a different implementation. I mean, if this was colors at first, so let's say F9, and you can see it's a yellow, blue, and green, and it says it's a tuple. And then down here, instead of doing this, I'm going to just do colors 1, because that's the 1th spot. And then colors 2 is the 2th spot. And then hit F9 and then print colors. Oops. See, it's purple, blue, or green. So another way of doing the exact same thing that we did up here, we just redefined it. But without really going in and finding out what those two were equal to. So this would probably be how you're going to do it if you were sort of in a loop or in some kind of conditional statement. This is probably how you would end up changing the first one, is just letting the rest of them be whatever they are. All right. Last thing I want to show is Python tutor. And so this is and you can stop the video and pull up the website, but I'm going to just go ahead and go to it. So you can just copy and paste your code into here. Let me copy. We'll see. And then go back to Python tutor, and then just highlight it all, Control V, Python tutor visualizer practice. And then you can pick your Python version, right? So you can even do things in C and Java and everything else, but this is Python tutor, so we're gonna stay in Python. And then we'll just visualize our execution. So visualize our execution. So the question is, what is this code doing, right? So if you've never seen this code before, let's just step through it. So Python tutor will tell you how many steps. It's gonna take you 72 steps, so we can hit the next button. Right, and what that first line of code, so you can follow along. The red is what code we're on right now. So I'm going to get this eyes in range 3, and right now all it's done is give me an empty list. So we haven't done much yet. And now it's said, well, is going from 0 to 3, so it's going to start off at 0, and then J is going to start off at 0 as well, and then we're going to append to A the number 0. Why is that? Because it's 0 times 4 plus 0. Bam. It's in there. And then it's going to do the same thing with 1. And then it's going to do the same thing with 2, and so on and so forth. So this is not building a nested list like I first thought it was going to do. So once you get to 11, let's see. So 4, yeah. So once you get to 11, it's going to time out. So why is that? Because the j is 3, and remember this goes to n minus 1, so 3 is the last number, and this one goes to 2, which is the last number. So then it just pops out of this for loop, and then now it's just going to print a. So it prints a, all this stuff. You can make this bigger if you want to. It'll just print out the thing that is currently a right now. Okay. Now what we do is we're going to run the second piece of code and kind of see what happens in there. So now I have this A, which is a blank list again, and now I have this row. I mean, you see I'm redefining it every single time once the columns go through, right? So you can kind of see what happens here. So now I have a blank list pointing to A. I have a blank list. I'm sorry, A is pointing to a blank empty list. Row is pointing to an empty list. And I starting at 0, and we haven't restarted J yet, but now we have, so we got 0, 0, and now what I'm doing is I'm appending to row the same numbers that were up here, right? So now, but I'm doing row first. So I'm putting in a row, 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 and then once I get out of that row, eventually, yeah, I got 4 of them, then it's going to pop out of this loop here. Right, it's going to stop appending to row. So it just did it 4 times, 0 through 3. And now what it's going to do is going to go to A, and it's going to append that list. So this is really what I wanted to have this thing do. So it's going to now, A has got one list in it that has these numbers. Okay, so now let's do the next one. So now row is no longer pointing to that list, but a new empty list. And now it has a 4 in it, and then a 5, and then a 6, and then a 7. And now it's going to get out of this loop, this inner loop, and then it's going to come here, and now I'm going to append this second row. So I have one list already with the 0 through 3 in it, and now A is going to have another list because I'm going to append that row to it. So now you have 2 lists. One that has these numbers and one that has these numbers. And if you can think about it like a matrix, that's sort of what's happening here. This is your first row, this is your second row, and these are columns inside it. So 0 and 1 are sort of lined up together. That's how I think of it anyway. And then we're going to do the same thing again this time. It's going to pop out of that J loop, and then it's going to come in here. I'm going to pin this thing to the bottom of that list. So it's 0, 1, and 2. So 0 points to that one, 1 points to that list of numbers, and 2 points to that list of numbers. And then we're basically done because now your I's and J's are all done, and then it's going to print. So it's going to print something a little different than it did up here before. Before it was one big long list, so a single list, because I didn't really do anything in here to make it something other than a single list. But inside here, I did that row business. So every time I reset the row, and then I appended that row, and then I reset the row, and then I appended that row, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's all I got. I just wanted to take you guys through the Python tutor so you can kind of visualize code. Use this to do, if you have some piece of code that just isn't working, you don't understand what's going on, you can just hit the next button and simply find out, because I believe this is the most important thing going on in your code, is figuring out what the variables are doing each and every time.